historically had poor economies and high levels of income inequality. We got a lot of work to do. Let's turn to Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Senator, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Good. My pleasure.
There's still an ugly underbelly to this economy as it stands right now. This past election was themed about and focused on the middle class. What can we do, Senator, moving forward here in the short term? Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, Ed, we have to do exactly what you are doing now and focus on an issue that gets very, very little attention. And that is the fact that we have the most unequal distribution of wealth and income of any major country on earth, worse today in the United States than at any time since 1928 before the Great Depression. Ed, from a moral perspective, we have to ask ourselves whether we think it is acceptable that the top 1% owns 35% of the wealth in America when the bottom 60% owns 2.3% of the wealth. Whether it is acceptable that the top 1% earns more income than the bottom 50%, and in the last study that we saw in 2010, 93% of all new income went to the top 1%. Is that the kind of country that we feel comfortable living in?
I don't think so. I don't think the American people believe that, and I think that's what this election was all about. I mean, when you look at it, middle-class families earned more in 1996 than today. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. The middle class are still asked to share the sacrifice with the cuts to the big three.
That's right.
We have to grab this conversation.
That's exactly right. And, Ed, what this is also about, it's not only morality and fairness, it is about politics. Because what do you think the big money folks are doing? The big corporations who are enjoying record-breaking profits, the wealthiest people doing phenomenally well. They're not sitting on their money. They're putting huge amounts of money into the political process so they get even more tax breaks, more ability to outsource our jobs, more ability to put their money in tax havens of the Cayman Islands. And then furthermore, it's not only a political issue, and it is an economic issue. And that is, if consumers do not have the money, if the middle class and working families do not have the income to spend, how are you going to create jobs?
Well, that's
the whole thing.
Senator, your thoughts on what policies would reduce this wide gulf of income inequality?
Well, let me just tick off a very few. I think what almost all economists recognize is that when real unemployment is over 14%, counting those people who have given up looking for work and are working part-time, we need to invest significant sums of money rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, roads, bridges, water systems, mass transit, etc. Second of all, given the threat of global warming, we need to invest very heavily and create jobs in weatherization, energy efficiency, and sustainable energy. That's one area, Ed, if we are aggressive, we can create many millions of jobs rather quickly. Second of all, we have got to demand that Wall Street stop sitting on the huge amounts of money they are and get that money out to the productive economy so small and medium-sized businesses have the capital to expand and also create new jobs.
That is a plan that needs to be discussed and Americans ought to get behind. Senator Bernie Sanders, thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. Coming up, Geraldo Rivera wants to be New Jersey's next senator. We've got an exclusive